Okay. Oh my gosh. So much work to get it all working again. Oh my gosh. I think I got it back. So, hello, welcome. We had weird audio, and I think it's better. I hope it's better. Happening. Last day of the year, of course, right? Par for the course, they say, right? So, I'm sorry it kicked you out of the last live stream. You'll have to join this new one. You know, rock and roll, man. We are a rock and roll live stream. Yeah, we have to do an. So, let's see. Maybe I'll do it this way. I'll just copy the link. Copy the link. Go to MailChimp, and we'll send this to everybody. Are you guys getting back in? Let me see. Sounds much better. Yeah, I was able to figure out what was going on and fix it. Sorry. But here, give me a second. I'm going to send a note to everybody. Let's go create email, regular. Sorry again for that. That was not expected and not professional. And when you're doing a free web live stream, you're supposed to be professional. We're back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I got audio working. Things just kind of went haywire, as they are known for happening sometimes when you don't expect it. So, I think we got audio working again. Let's see. Let's get this a little bit hotter. Testing 1, 2. Anyway, hello. Let's start this all over one more time. My name is John Limcool, sometimes called John Skippy Limcool by those in the know. Let me turn this down here just a little bit so we don't distort. Turn this input down just a little bit, and we are set. So welcome to an interesting live stream. We're off to a good start. Okay, but what was the problem? Some doubling of audio channels that was invisibly set up in the software. So I had just to reset everything. And when your audio interface goes down and a message pops up saying interface is lost, restart your computer. Don't even try to make, oh, hey, it's back. I hear audio now, because it had done something in the system settings that. So we have a lot to show you guys, and I'm 30 minutes in without anything happening. So I had, for the fix, I had to do just some, the software itself had gone kaput, because when I just got this new mic stand holder, and I hadn't plugged the mic into my audio interface. And when I pulled out the old one and I plugged the new one in, I got an error message. And then it worked. And so I was like, oh, hey, it works. Hey, eBlue, everybody, welcome. So we're back. Audio is good. So yes, we are always unexpected here, my friends. So we have a lot to cover. So let me do this. To start with, there is a new synthesizer that came out like actually a week ago that is really interesting. I want to show you really quickly. Let's go over here. Let's just get a basic optimizer light on the output. This is from our friends at Dawesome. It's called Kult, and it is an interesting synthesizer, I must admit. I wouldn't put it into the must-own like Novum. Novum from Dawesome is truly a just unbelievable instrument. I am so impressed with the sounds that it can create. This is one, if you hear the sounds and you go, oh, I love sounds like that, then you will love this. But it's not, it's not quite the same. But Kult is a rather interesting 2-oscillator. It has these interesting algorithmic oscillators that you can choose, and then you can combine it with where the saw and square, and then there's some shifting parameters for like detuning units and things. After you get past the 2 oscillators, there's a filter which has dual. Right? It can go to some really interesting sonic places. And this is before we start adding distortion and comb that each of the 2 oscillators also have available. The effects, there's over here is your effect bank, which you can continue to add between these 8 different effects, doing some really cool things. Clouds is fun. And then if you want to add a shimmer on top of this, it's got an octave shift to it. So if these types of sounds are interesting to you, then you're gonna love this, because it does all sorts of really interesting these kinds of sounds. You know, those kind of those cool, distorted. And it has a cool modulation system where if you choose any parameter, and then you go up here and go, oh, I want the LFO to control this, all you have to do is click, and now the LFO is controlling that, doing whatever this LFO is doing. And so you click here to see the LFO. And bring up the amount. It can go some cool places, but you can tell harmonic. I mean, it really sits well in the. So it's not a must buy for everybody, but for those that love these kind of sounds, there are a couple weird things that hopefully this is version 1.0 that they have released, of course. Sustain pedal on the ARP doesn't work. And this happens often, but check this out. With Unify, which is what we were running this in, I can fix that. All you have to do is go over here to the little MIDI filter, go to Utility, add the MIDI filter, and down here where it says Sustain Pedal, say Emulate. And now we emulate note on when the sustain pedal is down, so now it works. But if I didn't have this MIDI filter in Unify, it stops. And so add the MIDI filter and it works. Just one of the many perks Unify brings to the whole dance equation, right? The other thing is that timing isn't tight. I have found If we go to the standard library, let's say BPM kick, just to add to this so we can like compare. Let's go like this. I need to go pause the video there. BPM kick 4 on the floor, add this to Unify. It's not tight. And it keeps it drifting a little bit. And if we were to combine, like, say, something from Omnisphere, just to show you other things are tight. So those are small things that are fixed in the 1.01 update, but it needs an update to fix a few things. So that's tight. That's not tight. So there's a few things they need to fix and address. Nothing major, but timing is something that will get fixed. Probably there might already be an update. I mean, I haven't checked for an update this morning. They probably are still celebrating since the end of the year. Anyway, it is a really cool synthesizer sonically, as in doing interesting new things. It's just whether it's something you need. Now, I will say this. Yeah, you guys are talking about Peter, the gentleman that made this interface, and if you look between the other synths he's been releasing, like here's Novum, which is one of the, I haven't made a video, I don't know if I will, but one of my synthesizers is truly one of the standouts of the year is Novum. For this, the interface, the way it works for granular, how optimized it is for granular. Here's the bank of patches that I made. So, wait, user. We go user and turn off B. These are the patches that I've created that are in the Dreamstate library. And it's just wonderful. You know, I can do really cool things like that. Really cool vibe. It's just, this is a standout, truly mind-blowing plugin. So not every plugin you make are going to be a standout, mind-blowing plugin, but this is still a really cool plugin, taking similar concepts from that interface and putting them into a new synth engine. I mean, the engine itself is totally, it's not granular, it's this multi-oscillator. I haven't even studied up on. It's a great sound. So it is, I still believe it is still available. I put a link in the chat, in the video description already. And if we go to here and we go to traction, yeah, their sale is still on. So if you use Holiday 22, you can get this at 50% off, which is kind of the business model that seems to work really well for people these days. So if you go over here, I think it's $129. So that makes it $65, which is a very fair, reasonable price for a it's a Kult. So, I mean, come on, you know, it's going to be those. Now, if you want to see it from scratch, let's play around with it a little bit. If we start with the init pat, number one, this oscillator shape is really weird. And then let's bring up the release exponential. I like it to be a little bit more. So, as you turn this up, the waveform changes. You can click here to. So there's all sorts of parameters in this basic sound. Then you can get really cool motion. Right there, you can get these really cool dancing waveforms and then add some additional. That's one oscillator. And then into here, you could go to the filter, turn it on. Turn on the comb. And again, if I want to hit the plus, let's put steps in. Let's say steps. Let's make it be synced at eighth notes. And then all I have to do is choose a parameter that I want, say filter, and then go over here and click the little circle. Maybe I want really cool radical. Maybe I want to play with the amount of the comb filters, so you just have to click this parameter so it's highlighted like a bracket, and then move the wheel. And if we want to have also an LFO, we can say add an LFO. You can invert the shape. You can go over here to choose some different shapes. Say we want this type of shape and we want to invert it. Let's make this be eighth notes. So now we can go to the filter. And we should have both those things happening. Let's get some rain here. Okay, we need to go eighth notes. Oh, sync. Turn on sync. It should be faster. Sync, and then. Oh, here's eighth notes. Anyway, you get the idea. His sync interface here is a little funky to me. It doesn't totally gel. But then you go to the effects page. You click over here to say you want to add something like a phaser. And off you go. So programming is not difficult. The effects are nice. The interface is nice. I wish the timing on how to do LFO shapes and stuff. This is a little confusing because I set to eighth notes and it just doesn't do eighth notes sometimes. But it's very cool. So if you need a new synthesizer, Kult, it's distributed through Traction. It's through at Dawesome is the company behind it. Let's see. Kult. Again, that's on traction.com. And if you go to traction.com, it should be there at the top of the list to see Kult and learn more about it. Get it if you want it. There's a free trial, of course, to try it out. So highly recommended. Lots of fun. And definitely a different personality than other stuff in the room. But it is on this kind of vibe, you know, even the pads. You know, it's not Novum. So it's a whole different engine. It reminds me a lot of, what was the synth that came out from, it was released, they were released through, we've actually unified them. It's just, I can't remember off the top of my head. I can, Pendulate, and let's see, if I go over here, this is one thing I love with Unify, because I have memory issues, so PNDU, I haven't installed them here. They're new way, something, anyway, you know what I mean, Pendulate, and there's another, let's see, if I type in here, yeah, Eventide Audio Pendulate is a similar in vibe kind of thing with the oscillators that can do these really cool chaotic synth kind of oscillators. So I think this is kind of in that category. So definitely cool to check out. Okay. Now, if we go factory, turn everything off, init. Let me get fast envelope. I'm going to show you. There's 2 free plugins that you should be aware of that are pretty cool that came out in the last couple weeks. I hope you guys had a good Christmas. I was able to go see my family in Idaho. There's more to talk about there in a minute. But to start with, Distortion MS-20 or Filter MS-20. Really cool filter from our friends at Arturia, is free. Right? I mean, it's really nice. If you go advanced, it has the ability to do function generators, step sequencers. And this has some sort of randomizing, as you can see, so that value all the time is being randomized. Really smart stuff. And then if you wanted to assign this to parameters, oh, here you go. You got color controls here for whether it's the green. So if you want the filter to be controlled by the purple. You can do crazy stuff pretty easily with their layout, how it's set up. And so if you don't have an Arturia account, you should have one and then get their software and just register to get it. And then you can download it from their plugin, from the application. If you don't, let me show you the Arturia Filter MS-20 is right here. Arturia.com to products. I don't know if a lot of times these things are free for a limited period of time and then they go to a retail thing of like $99. So I'm not sure how long this will be free. I don't know if it will be retail, if it's going to be packaged into something in the future, but it's pretty cool. Especially since it has distortion. With a pre and a post. Noise box is still more cool by far, but you can reverse the distortion and the filter. So now you're filtering before the distortion, which is cool. And here you can get even more into. Let's see high cut. So it can scream pretty cool. Right? So that is one free plugin that you guys should know about. That's very, very cool. The other one is really interesting. It's kind of, they're marketing it as something to put onto like electric pianos. Let's go over here to electric piano inside of. This is from Sampleson. So let's go over here and let's apply it right here at the output. It is called Dino Mod, and it's basically like a sonic enhancer maximizer kind of a plugin. Is it going to crash? That would be kind of a par for the course if it did, but it should not crash. It was running just fine yesterday, but today, we are having an audio problem here. So what happened? Okay. Well, yep. Let's force quit Unify and try one more time. Whoops. Hello, Unify. By the way, one thing that we're working on, we're not sure how to distribute this yet because of the way it works, but we have unified Korg Gadget 2's patches. All of the Korg Gadget library is huge. It's a lot of plugins. If you go to the Korg plugin list, it installs all of these like Madrid and bass and all these little tiny things that they're cool. Almost cheesy, but at the same time cool. Shane and Mr. Johansson, one of our plugin guru people that love to unify patches. Notice it's not M1 native, but it's still working in Unify in native M1 mode because Unify 1.9 is able to load it, basically wrap and load it. But we have saved out every patch, and the Korg Gadget 2 library is 5,180 patches. The big problem is that it's 4 gigabytes because a lot of these patches just have a fairly huge footprint to the patch size. So if let's see, say electric piano. Let's see, piano. So if you love workstation sounds and stuff like that, if you don't have it, Gadget 2 is both a sequencer, but when you buy it, you can buy it in a version which comes with all of the patches or the plugins as separate. So you can play M1, MEX, the piano. Let's see. I'm just trying to find something that's got... We'll take something like this. You'll be able to hear this for sure. Go Sampleson Dino Mod. Without. With. And you can sweeten the bass and add it. That's without it. So sometimes you need things just to have a little bit more edge in a mix. Once you get into a more complex mix, this is pretty effective for doing that to any sound. Let's go over here to the standard library. Let's see, turn this off. So just on BPM drums, drum grooves and stuff like that. It does a really nice job of bringing out. Go all here, Sampleson. Right? So you can take the mix kind of from a flat place to have just a little bit more frequencies that will cut in a certain place. Might be useful in situations and stuff like that. So let's see, that's Dino mod, Sampleson. It is found at it's actually kind of hidden. I couldn't find it from their webpage directly. So sampleson.com, then /free-dino-effect.html. They have some really nice different instruments, and they've done a good job of improving and doing so forth. Like the Suit 73 is really nice. So make sure you check out their different pianos. You can download demos of them, stuff like that to work with. But this little Dino mod, pretty sweet. Just to get the certain frequencies to stick out a little bit, you know? You can also use it to taper back certain frequencies. Like if you want to have another kick drum, you could use this to like minimize the low end, sweeten the high end, and then have another drum groove that's doing the low end part, stuff like that. So there's all sorts of ways to use it. Very nice for a free plugin, you know? We'll do a special free plasmatic library and our plan. Okay, cool. So that is the start. And then I wanted to go to text edit. And let's go over here. This is more for me to see than you guys. I want to go to Guru Libraries of 2022 because we released 12 libraries last year. This year, it's not over yet. And here they are. And I wanted to show them to you. So in February, March, April, May, June, July, we actually did 2 libraries in July. Lots of stuff to show you guys. So we're going to start at the top of the list with Unify Lo-Fi. This is a really cool library that Matthias Sauer created right here. Tons of BPM patches. And I'm telling you this stuff and going through it because it's the year end, but we also have, I should point out, because it pays the bills for the live streams and everything else, we have a 45% off sale or more in some cases going on. If you click the super savings on select libraries, it will take you to a page where some libraries are at more than 45% off. But if you go to just products and go down the list, it will show you all of our libraries and show you the current sale prices, which are 45% off everything. So $39 libraries are $21.45. All of the libraries in this list, even Dreamstate wasn't on sale for a while. I've put Dreamstate back on sale at its introductory price of $29. So they're all available. But this is a really cool library, as you can see, with a ton of basses. There's 325 patches in this. It's incredible. The BPM ARPs. Some are bigger like that, and more are more. If you want, you can turn on the drums. I think there might be a knob. Yeah. Right? There's one note jams. be that's a song right there. If you listen to much lo-fi, that's all it is. And like we could take all these guys, right click on them and make this be a split. Go up to the basses. Let's say, let's load this as a new Unify layer. Let's load ME. And let's have this stop up here. Oh, wait, I need to actually have it come down here. So I'll quickly grab it. Now it's triggering drums from here. So if you really want to get this right, you would go over here to the key range. Why is it playing this? Oh, because it's triggering here on the MIDI number 1. So we should go to these guys and also tell them both. Can I do both at once? I haven't tried this before. Yep. There. So the MIDI box is connected to there. We're playing grooves. So now they won't. So right? So there's all sorts of things in this library. There's tons, as I said, basses, BPM. We made a drum kit, so let's see. So So all sorts of fun ways to use all the elements in this. It's lo-fi vibe all over the place. The BPM keys are great. So if you don't have this library and you like this vibe, all the BPM pads are great. And they work together, so you can go to Unify Layer, have like 3 of these together. Oh, and percussion. No percussion. So all sorts of lo-fi vibe stuff. This library is great for that. Special effects, breakups, breakdowns. Great, all sorts of lo-fi vibe all over the place. Tons of keys. And by using Chow Tape Model, which is an effect inside a Unify, right? So that kind of thing, all over the place. Leads, just basic pads that don't dance and do all that stuff, but just right? All sorts of places. So first library of the year last year was Unilo-Fi. And then in actually, that was in February. And then in March, we released Renegade, which is just a jaw-dropping library that was created by Bob Dedes. And Bob Dedes has done demos for lots of our libraries for a long time and has just a crazy amount of different categories. Say body percussion. If you go here and you look at the keyboard, this is one where we really got into the color coding. All that kind of stuff, right? Organic hits. whooshes and setbacks. All the things you need for cinematic work, for the trailers and stuff for film, super toms. Individual hits up here and then down below. Both grooves and hits. Then it gets even more interesting when you get into some of the basses. Some of these basses are round robins. If you look at the Guru sampler list for the number of samples used in this one bass, it's crazy because there's velocities, all this stuff for F sharp 3. So it's the deepest library we've released as far as number of samples. All these perk builders are maps so that you can big hits. Got this. Oh, come back here. Brass shorts. The guitars are insane. They're 8 velocity round robins. I think there's 6 or 8. Takes a second to load some of these. He tuned his guitar to D, so have D. Really great mutes. Denise, perfect room. Then we get to leads, other synth sounds. There's bright synths and it's a great library for all sorts. Where's the stadium chant? There's one of the, here we go, stadium. Cool stuff. And then we made a bunch of bonus patches. So there's then there's the big splits where you have like I gotta remember how I played. Oh, just one note. So there's a lot of sounds. Everything you're hearing is in this one library, which is just crazy. Yells and all that stuff. It's just super, super fun. 80s soul. So if you need cinematic sounds and drums and all this kind of cool production stuff to put, every track can sound better with whooshes and risers, and all this kind of stuff is so useful in music of all types. Not just high impact cinematic stuff, but right? So, really cool library. Renegade for Unify was in March. And then April, we brought out a library that was originally created for Omnisphere 2. Where is it? Oh, you know what? I might need to install this one. I might not have installed on because this is a new computer. So if I go over here to products, Unify, this is do I not have Del Norte? Maybe I can't. I thought I had Del Norte, and I thought again that sometimes things don't go as they expect, and I have Del Norte EDM Chill right here. But it's not showing up in my list. It's probably because it's not authorized on this computer. So if that happens, sometimes when you move a library over, you'll have to reinstall it from the start to get the license entry to authorize it. I don't have that, so I can't show it on this computer because I installed this computer later in the year and I didn't install Del Norte and I didn't check that before the live stream. Sorry. So Del Norte EDM Chill is at the website. It's a really cool library of virus patches I sampled, available for both Omnisphere 2 and for Unify. But oops, I can't show it to you. There, centered a little bit better. Let's see, what else we got here? MegaMagic guitars for Unify. That should be here. This is a library that was 2 different libraries inside of Omnisphere 2 combined into a single 269 patch library of both these wonderful guitars that were sampled with multiple samples. So you have both the dry and for the Unify version, I was able to use our trigger box, and I recorded some new guitar note on and off effects. So as you're playing, there's all sorts of little additional noises. And then these are presented in MegaMagic 1 and 2, which is 2 different types of reverb processing. This is just this beautiful, I keep thinking PCH kind of, yeah, Pacific Ocean at sunset look. And then MegaMagic 2 has octaves. Right? And we did this for all sorts of different types of guitars. This is the electric sitar. Which is really cool with reverb. And I'll show you just a quick demo because it's always kind of fun. The samples have reverb baked into them. So that they ring out with just the notes that you play. If we were to go over here and make this like a 10-second reverb, and if I was to make this really strong so you can really hear it, reverb just becomes mushy if it's very long. Right? It just loses all coherency. But because the reverb is in the samples, those notes are allowed to ring out, and that reverb is not interacting with other notes. So it's really unique. It's a cool kind of sound design way of dealing with samples that I came up with, that I started with MegaMagic Dreams and MegaMagic Pads. This is MegaMagic Guitars. Now Now, some of these other samples, like the New Jazz, some other ones in here are just single samples across the keyboard. So they're not the whole, but a lot of them sound really great. I believe this is one sample for the guitar. If you go to the reverb version, and if you don't want the noises, just turn down layer 2. And then at the end of the list, after all the guitars, there's Z bonus patches that are combinations of the various guitars and so forth. And right? There's Chunky Monkey Funky sequence. So, you know, it's not the deep sampled guitars like Renegade. It's a different take on what to do with things, but it's effective in its own different, unique way. There's some really cool chord strum kind of patches. And then there's guitars. Like this one, is it designed for replacing? See, it says replace me with your favorite guitar plugin. So you could go to this one, go say to Ample Sound has really cool guitars. Here's their Martin 6-string steel. So you could put in your favorite guitar samples from whatever sample libraries or other plugins you wanted to use, or anything really for that matter. If you wanted, you could say, I want to use this with a keyboard sound. So you could go to Keyscape or something and it would work just fine. So there's all sorts of fun things in that different categories and in terms of different distortion. Right? So all sorts of different things. Okay, so that was MegaMagic guitars. Then in June, just a couple days after my birthday, I was hoping to release it on my birthday, but I didn't get it done quite in time, is this library. This is kind of a different take on things. This is Pro Master, Patch Master, what's it called? Patch Master Pro 1, which I bought an Arturia Pro 1, and then I thought, you know, it doesn't have presets. There's a lot of people that own Pro 1s that probably wish they had some presets, because if you don't know what you're doing, you end up with frying LFO, sizzly sounds, and you can't get back to anything else because the LFO is turned on and you don't know how to turn it off. So I made all of these patches, bloody brass. First of all, I sampled the patch so that this monophonic synth can be played polyphonically in Unify, because the samples, right? But I also included the actual patch. If you click where the artwork is, in a lot of the libraries, it shows images, but in this particular library, it shows you the actual layout of each of the knobs and the switches inside of the Pro 1 so that you can create this. It'll be a monophonic lead sound. But you can play it polyphonically in Unify. And then I took it farther. You have 4-way round robin. I sampled each one of these instruments 4 times through and then mapped them all to 4 separate sets of the same samples so that and you can tell a huge difference between the samples, it's a little different each time, whereas see, I gotta be up here an octave. Here it's the same every time. Go up here. And there's different samples playing. And then I took it a step further in that now it's 2 samples on the left, 2 samples on the right, using Polybox to be stereo. So it's actually playing 2 Pro 1 sample maps. Just to take these, just what can we do with Unify that's different? So we can take a single sample, sample it 4 times, and now it's round robin because that. And then we can. So I did that to all these different patches. Here's a preset for making that patch. And then you have all the tools in here. Make pads, whatever you want with them. Cool, weird, like all sorts of fun things. So that was the idea behind that library. I have a number of other Arturia synth or Behringer synths that I would like to. I have right over there's a mono poly, which is just begging to be sampled with all 4 oscillators doing its thing. So that is one of the libraries. I will do a variation on this. Take it from there to. Just sounds great. Such great. I mean, they're really cool, useful sounds. The sound of the oscillators, even the Behringer is really great. You got the clean sawtooth. Then you can use the Guru sampler filters and so forth to program the squares, different frequency of phase. Right? 50% is your traditional square. And then down below that are all sorts of really cool BPM patches that are. What happens if you take it even farther and you start layering and using ARPs and effects and all that kind of stuff, and you. And this is one of the libraries where I really got carried away with the artwork and created images for these. I think I did, right? Didn't I? So if you go to Moonwalker, BPM synth patches. Keys, leads, pads, all the good stuff. Retro synth vibe, all that's all in here. So it's a cool library for that. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that was June. We did Patchmaster Pro. Then in July, we released a library that Subsonic Art created for Diva. And we unified it, so it is here as well, and that is Diva Station. And this is 325 patches for Diva, both available if you just own Diva, but we've also, all the patches are available in Unify so that you can play and layer and call them up. And if you go over here to Unify Layer for your options, then just clicking additional patches are going to layer them. Right? And at the heart, it's Diva making all the sounds you're hearing. So. And if you go to the presets, I think I have Diva Station in here. Go to local, third party, and here's Diva Station. So all the patches are right here in native Diva format to work with as well. But there you can't layer them and do all the fun stuff we're doing up here so easily. But it's still a great library with 325 patches just for Diva if you don't own Unify. So. The vibe is great with this. These are downers and risers, experimental effects. Great keyboards, great leads. Great diversity. Then there's multis using all of the different layers. This is for Diva. Very fun. Yes, it's the Behringer Pro one. I corrected myself. I did. I know I did. Sad goodbye. So this is where I'm combining sounds from Unify's sample database with Diva. Right? So I made a few multis for the library. When it got to me, I was like, oh, I got to make some. So fun library. So Diva Station came out here. I don't mind sharing and let you guys see this. Diva Station came out in July. Also in July, ESC, the European Sound Collective, released their library that they'd been working on of their personal favorite patches. The ESC is a collective of, I believe, 15 or so different programmers. So Personal Flavors 2 has all of these different programmers that, for aside from me, they live in the European different countries. That's kind of where it comes from, is they're European programmers. A lot of these guys release libraries under different labels and so forth for Omnisphere 2 and so forth. So it's very nice that Bernie is able to get them all to combine their talents into making libraries and patches for Omnisphere and other. They have some cool plans in the works for 2023. FN is Fred. He's the one that made the Diva Station library we just looked at. BH is Bernie. I think Bernie might be here. Goes all over the place. Basically have the ability to like choose a certain programmer and say, oh, I like Charles's patches. So he has these other patches. So you can go through and check out his works. Go to someone else, check out their works, kind of see what each person, each person that sits and learns synth programming, you're going to bring your own. It's like painters. Nobody paints the same paintings, even though everybody has the same oil and the same colors. There's so many different ways to approach synthesis. And so this library really shows that off in a really beautiful way. So highly recommended, really, really fun. In August, we released Chili Pop Phrases. This is a unique library of guitar phrases. As you can see, let me get up here to the phrases in the map like this. This is one each. There's variations, and you can see how many variations there are by the number. That's what the 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 8 variations. These are, let's say, at 100 beats per minute. All these guitar, the chili phrases, this one's more than just guitars. There's also chill guitar phrases, which is just chill guitar phrases. And what's fun is to combine this with other libraries. So if you go to Unilo-Fi, go to the drum option and go BPM drums and choose one of these. Now you got a cool phrase, drum groove. And each note is a different phrase. So a lot of these phrases, these would be used in choruses of a song, and then filter and do other things for when it's the verse section of the song or for breakdowns and stuff, to have these elements that you can build around, right? So it's a really unique library. It's very different. We don't have a technology per se that lets you like change the tempo in your DAW and the audio samples follow. We're not that complex with our sampler. That's why I sampled the phrases at 7 different tempos. 6 different tempos, correction. So if I go to 110, oh wait, I need to go to just normal load and say, let's say 120, that same note. If I go to 75, it's the same sample. I used the audio playback of Logic was great for slowing down the audio to. Is that sample at 75 beats per minute? And 120. And then I have some BPM splits up here, like phrase jams, where you choose drum groove and the phrase, that's the low note. And then above, and up here in the window of Unify, it can tell you the chord progression, and there's a knob over here that can change to different chord progression, to different samples, and it will tell you the chord progression of that sample ahead of time. So I know what it's going to be. If I change to another phrase, there's 54 phrases. Each one of them has a different chord progression. So this is F. So you can use these to write songs, jam from the scratch right here if you want. There's all sorts of different ways to. This one where you have. All sorts of crazy stuff to play with. Drums, the basses that were used in the grooves. So you have all sorts of subs, right? All that kind of stuff to fit that vibe of music where you have phrases and that kind of thing. So, really cool library. Okay, so next library, let's keep going on the list. This is a little bit longer than my normal live streams just because I want to cover all of these because there's so many. So in September, MegaMagic Pads made its debut as a full library inside of Unify. This is 33, I believe, core pads that were originally created for Omnisphere 2. Every pad gets a synth version. So if you come down here to Battleborn Synth, you have a synth version. Here's Zebra. But if you come here to the pads, there's also a Zebra for pads. And there's all sorts of vibes. This is the best-selling library I've ever released. It has sold more copies between Omnisphere and so forth. The library for Unify has sold very well. People love pads. Of all the stuff we make, pads sell the best by far. Delicate Dancer. So it's fun to have it in Unify with all the samples. Tons of bonus stuff. So you have all sorts of things like that. And this is a library that we I'd watched a video from someone on YouTube that was doing a lot of sequencing with probability. And I started thinking about Jitterbox, not Jitterbox, but Triggerbox that we just released for the piano release and samples and all that kind of stuff. And it just so happens that I had Shane put a probability slider in for, I was thinking like for note offs. They didn't do note offs all the time because I don't like libraries where every time you play a note, you get the same guitar sample doing its note off. So I put in a probability slider and I was like, well, what if it's just notes if probability would work? And it turns out it does. So I can take this 100%, bring probability down, and it only lets a certain percentage of the notes that are coming in come out. So you can create really cool little melody maker probability things. I think I've said, say, if you say probability, you have all of these different patches that have probability. From minimal to just playing the whole time. Makes it so much more fun because now it's kind of like you don't know what is going to play, but it's going to work with what you want it to do, so it's fun. There's everybody all 100%. So this library is really fun. I did artwork for all of the basics up here, so when you call these up, called Piano in the Clouds. Right? Really fun. Cutting Edge Synth Bass was next, and that came out in October, just before Halloween. There will be more in the Cutting Edge series. Hopefully the first half of the year, I've got a rhythmic one and a synth one in the works. And these are basses. Nothing but basses. Deep basses. FM. My mini mode. Note off experiments. I was able to get pretty close to the resonance of Tom Sawyer using our OBXD. You know, so all sorts of fun. Razor basses. Subs. Serum, and there's a ton of these. TB303. And then you can start getting down here to the BPM basses where it's going through and combining all of those basses of all those different types of samples and instruments and synths and so forth into I think I have down here some BPM grooves. So this is eject button. I think eject button is here with the groove because there's a dubstep kit in there too. Sabertooth is another groove. I mean, all these grooves are cool. Combining all these different wave sequencing and synthesis and TB303 stuff. Oh, Happy New Year, Tim. Thank you so much, my friend. It's so cool. A couple pads. And chocolate pudding. And then the kits. There's a... This is the full dubstep kit from Super Macho Drums. That whole library will make its debut next year. So that is in here as well. Lots of fun stuff. If you turn on all the MIDI boxes, by the way, with this, you can play. Maybe not. I thought I had it set up. I have to check to see. That's supposed to be working a little bit better, but oops. Let's see here. Then we did Dreamstate, which was really fun at the end of November, just before Black Friday. This was a library I did where the patches were originally created for Novum, which I showed earlier in this live stream, which is this wonderful synth from Dawesome. And these have embedded samples of my own into the engine. And then I took these patches and I sampled them for Unify. So the plugin Dreamstate library are these samples inside of Unify. So you don't need Dreamstate. You don't need to use Novum, because like here, Flutes in the Trees, here it is as samples. But you have the patches if you go to the other library in Novum format, if you want to actually go in and play with it in Novum, if you have Novum. But you have to own Novum for the Novum library, of course, to work, right? And then there's so many. This will put you into trances for hours for these patches. It's Dreamstate. So it's like super chill. There's magic delay on these, so you can do octaves. Let's see, actually. Stuff like that. So many pads, 70 patches in total. Swirling eddies. I was able to spend Thanksgiving out at a beach. Is it Thanksgiving? No, I came back to Portland for Thanksgiving the actual day, but before that, my daughter was here from San Francisco and we went to a beach. So I was able to sample that. And a babbling brook. So those are in the pads and stuff that you'll find up here as well. Sleeping by a brook. Go over here and right click and add babbling brook to this. Turn it down. Gotta be careful, it might make you want to go to the bathroom. So that is a really, really fun library that came out for both Novum, for Unify, using all that stuff. And then the last library of the year was MegaMagic Trio, which is still available at its introductory price. And there's dry as well as MegaMagic versions of cello, viola, violin that I sampled for Omnisphere 2. So these are not super deep sampled. But for certain sounds, it's really, really useful. I mean, it's very useful for a lot of things. Just if you're trying to do solo violin, you might want to use a more multi-sampled library. These are more. I'm always looking for sounds that haven't been made before, and there's lots of libraries that have made these instruments in really authentic versions. So this is kind of a then you get down to the Z bonus patches, and there's all sorts of and some of the string stuff and the pads and so forth can get really into very cinematic category of sounds. You know? Hey, Paolo, thank you, man. If you have all these libraries, big hug. Hug, hug, hug. Thank you. Appreciate that. One too many violins. So that's the 12 libraries we released last year, which is an awful lot. So thank you all of you guys that have contributed and bought these libraries. Very appreciated. Plucky like Inya. Now, if you want, I can show you. You want to see a second of something I'm working on for what's next? I was able to go home to see my mom and dad and bring my daughter. And it just so happens that my mom was willed a harp from one of her cousins that passed. And this is Mary's harp. And it is a beautiful harp that I did a quick sampling pass. And then I was preparing to do another pass with better microphones and so forth. And storms were coming in this winter time. And so I decided I would not record a deeper pass this time, but I'll come back and do it again in the future. But it turns out that that pass of recordings that I did sounds really good. So I am working on a library, tentatively MegaMagic harp. And you can get into MegaMagic kind of territory. You can get into the scoring. Like you're at a scoring stage. I even did like an Andreas. So it's a 40-string harp. I sampled most all of the strings. There's a handful of them I pulled the samples out of because they didn't match the vibe of the rest of the harp. But it sounds great. And again, there's, $100 plus libraries that you can get that that are truly authentic cinematic harps with all that stuff. This is not that library at all. More like a workstation. I still like to work in kind of the And then I'm going to make some other samples using different sound design processes and techniques with granular and so forth to make some more legitimate MegaMagic samples. Those haven't been made yet. I've got 2 weeks probably to work on this. So that's in the works. We're working on the Vital library to come out in 2023. It's incredible. It's still like, you know, that is an incredible synthesizer. For those of you who don't have Vital, that is one everybody should own. Vital.audio is the website for getting Vital. A free software synthesizer, spectral warping wave synth. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So anyway, there's so much more in the works for next year. I think we'll do our shout outs for the last time of the year. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. Hello to everybody. Yes, if you can pay for Vital. That's how he can make some money. It was an interesting business model. I don't know how he did with that to make it basically so that you could get it for free, unlimited as far as the synth itself, but you're paying for different tiers for the patches. Yes. I love Guru Nation. Thank you to all of you, our family away from family. Someday we have to try to like meet someplace and stuff like that, you know? So, right. For Vital, yeah, there's someone else that I'm partnering with on that library, and they have been tied up with some difficult things. So, we'll release the library when it's ready. You know, sometimes I tend to talk about things before they come out. It's a bad habit of mine, so I apologize for that. It will come out when we have it ready. But thank you to you all. It's great to see everyone. And Happy New Year. Yeah, there's NAMM in April. We'll be there. But I hope you all have a wonderful 2023 start. Chances are we'll be together next week if you guys are around. Dana in Idaho. Look at everybody from everywhere. I love it. I love it. Good to see everybody. 1 hour away from fireworks. Ah, yes. Good. Okay. Well, we've still got 10 hours here. So shout out from Brazil. Hey, Paulo. Happy New Year. May not make it to NAMM. Yeah. We're under an atmospheric river. Wow. Yeah, it's been really moist down there, I guess. A lot of rain. San Diego, Colorado, San Francisco. Good to see you all. Sorry for the technical problems at the beginning. Yeah. But we sussed it out. We got it working. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you for all your support. And my camera slipped and went sideways, but that's all right. All right. We'll see you again. Take care. Bye, everybody.